Alright guys, here's the planche work from today. What are we on? Day 10 now, I think? Is that right? Heck yeah, double digits, baby. I have no idea how many days it'll take to do the, whole full planche with my feet off the ground and hips and knees relatively straight, but I don't know. 200, 300? Just a matter of time. Warming up here, did 3 sets of plank leans, and I went ahead and experimented with a turned out hand position. So my thumbs are pointed up, and my hands are turned out maybe about 30 degrees or so. Really trying to open up the biceps here and lock those elbows straight while having the shoulders in front of the hands. And kind of turns to an overcoming isometric, so I'm kind of pushing my body into the floor as hard as I can for, 10, 20 seconds, something like that. Not starting off at full intensity, kind of like ramping up to full intensity, maintaining that for a little bit and then releasing. So really trying to introduce these straight arm exercises into my routine, knowing that that is extremely necessary for the full planche, which is why I'm starting to do these now. And I'm going to switch from the steady state training cycle to a more high intensity, low frequency training cycle. Here I go into 3 sets of the bent arm frog plank. I'm trying to keep a flat back the entire time, so really co-contracting the spinal erector muscles with the abdominal muscles there. First set was about 16 seconds, next set was a little better, about 19. And the third and final set was a whopping 32 seconds, which is pretty decent. Pretty happy with that. Now, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, this is a useless thing to practice because your arms aren't straight. It's not going to translate to the straight arm stuff. But I love how this feels, man. Especially with the flat back. I really feel everything in my core contracting, and it just feels good, man. I mean, I'll never do a regular plank again because it's just like a plank on steroids. You know what I mean? It really lights up everything in my midsection, and of course, getting my arms a lot too: triceps, chest, shoulders. For the finale, I decided to try the rings. So similar to what I was doing on the floor, but hands even more turned out to point those biceps forward. And again, I'm kind of ramping up the intensity here to get like a good full body, overcoming isometric kind of style exercise going. So really pushing as hard as I can. You can see me trembling from the effort here. And I get a different angle in the second set. I definitely gotta do some some weeding in this little rock garden here. Tons of weeds have popped up because all the rain recently. Gotta pluck those bastards out. As you can see, my biceps are pointed forward, elbows are locked, palms are basically pointed forward, so getting 180 degrees of the air of rotation. And I'm just really trying to drive my hands toward my hips. Here's another angle for the third set. Now this set felt pretty shitty, I'm not gonna lie, because I really kind of overdid it on getting the biceps pointed forward and elbows straight. I think I Went a little too hard. Excuse me, too hard here. I was already getting the shakes on that second set, so I probably should have known to stop there, but whatever. So the reason I quit the steady state was because, I don't know, man. I understand that it helped a lot of people. A lot of gymnasts become what they are today, champions and stuff. But I'm not a gymnast. I'm not a champion. I'm just some dude. And the way I prefer to train, honestly, is low frequency, high intensity. Especially when it comes to strength. And I also like to train in a similar style to, legends like Paul Anderson, Devin Laird, people like this, who kind of just, and there's plenty of climbers, like I would say at least 50% of professional climbers train like this too, especially the old guys. They just pepper in that training throughout their day, and despite the intensity being high, they're getting so much rest time between sets that it's still not a great deal of strain on the body, on the nervous system, So basically, I had a lot of work to do today. I knew I wasn't going to go to the climbing gym enough time. So what I did was, the thumb training I was showing. I did like 4 sets of that, pyramiding up in weight and down in repetitions. Okay, then shortly after that, I got into the planche work. Kind of did something similar. I started off with like a somewhat easy variation, or what's not so high impact on the joints, and the planche lanes or plank lanes, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Pseudo planches, some people call them. And I wanted to focus on quality over anything. Somebody said this recently in a video I watched, and I can't recall who it was now, but they said the point of training is the acquisition of skill. It's not repetition. Repetition is fine and important, but if you're not constantly kind of critiquing and making advances towards improvement and perfection, then are you really training, or are you just going through the motions? So what I did for the planche work especially was I filmed it, I looked back at the video to see what I could do better, and then I moved on to the next set. And once I felt like my form was slipping, I just stopped, because I want that perfection. Okay, I want high quality muscle contractions in my entire body, high quality alignment of my body. And once I feel that's failing, I'm not really training strength anymore. I'm more training endurance. Okay, I don't really need to do that for this kind of shit. Okay, strength and endurance should be different. Okay, I'm not going to train those simultaneously. If I want to train endurance, I'll just go out and do some cardio. You've seen this shit. If you've watched me before, you've seen the shit I do in the garage on the freaking, red mats. Non-stop movements. So that's my idea, is I kind of want to get back to the style of training that I've done in the past that has worked for me. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I try to listen to my body. I should have listened a little better today, because that last set of the rings, plank lanes, whatever you want to call them, felt kind of shitty. And I was like, probably pushing too much on this one. I did stop after a little bit instead of going like as long as my last set. But for me, when I feel like there's like a certain feeling, there's the feeling in climbing too, and even other sports I've tried, to do with strength, where you can kind of feel like everything is activated, right? You're kind of like firing on all freaking cylinders. And yeah, once you kind of get there, and you're like, damn, this feels like 100%. And you start getting that shake, that like nervous system shaking. You know? The power coursing through your veins. I feel like that's probably gonna be your best attempt. You know, unless you rest like a fucking hour or something and have like a meal in between or something. That's probably gonna be your best attempt at that exercise. And I definitely felt that in the second set, which felt like really freaking good on the rings. And I was even able to kind of lean forward more than I thought I would be able to where my hands were very close to my hips. And I could even feel my hamstrings engaging an attempt to lift my legs and hips off the ground. They didn't, but I could feel that, could potentially be there in the future by how those muscles were contracting. So I probably should have quit there. I need to get a little better at listening to my body instead of being so, what's the word for it? I guess overzealous. Chasing those numbers. Oh, I did 3 sets of this and 3 sets of this. I should do 3 sets of this. Nah, fuck that. You can do 2. If the second was your best effort, there's no point in doing another. So I gotta learn that for sure. Anyway, that's about it, guys. Peace the fuck out.